It's News 360. Hello, good evening, and welcome to our major news bulletin for the day. My name is Bawku Asari.
And I'm Aisha Yakubu Khalid. Coming up in the bulletin this evening.
News 360 Headlines is brought to you by
Flamingo Paint,
Pepsodent Charcoal and Pepsodent Herbal.
President John Dramani Mahama directs Inspector General of Police to give him status reports of election-related death in 2020 and 2024.
Looming fuel shortage hits Damongo in the Savannah region, but National Petroleum Authority allays fears of widespread scarcity.
Also coming up tonight, anti-LGBTQ bill hangs in the balance after former President Akufo-Addo declined to sign it. Tonight we ask, did the bill die with the 8th Parliament, or can it be submitted to President Mahama for assent?
In business this evening, government urged to decentralize its much-touted 24-hour economy program to curb rural-urban migration.
And elsewhere, U.S. President-elect Donald Trump sentenced to unconditional discharge, meaning he's spared a jail time and a fine. We've got details of all these stories, plus many more coming up in the next 60 minutes. Remember, we're streaming live on Facebook. We're also live on your DSTV channel 279. You can join us with your views, comments, and suggestions on any of our headline stories this hour. Feel free to visit any of our social media pages on Facebook and on X. Now, in our very first story tonight, in fulfillment of his campaign promise of seeking justice for some individuals who lost their lives in the 2020 elections, President John Dramani Mahama has directed the Inspector General of Police to give him a status report, including the recent 2024 killings. The president has also directed supporters of the National Democratic Congress engage in seasoned public institutions to immediately halt the practice.
The president led his party to the National Mosque in Kanda to offer thanks to Allah for guiding them through the elections. It afforded the president the opportunity to receive intercessory prayers from the chief imam. The 2020 elections became a blot on Ghana's democracy as it recorded some deaths. Just 3 days in office, the directives are swift in a quest to seek justice for the affected.
We must recognize that a few of our citizens lost their lives. My understanding is almost 5 of our citizens were killed in the process of the election. This is not the first time. In 2020, we know that 8 of our citizens were killed. If these continue and justice is not served, then what it does is it breeds impunity. And that's why, as a party, we have said that we must investigate and find out what led to these killings so that we can take action so that they don't happen again. So I've asked my secretary, executive secretary, to write to the IGP to give us a report on the status of investigations into these killings.
His newly appointed Attorney General also has an immediate task to perform in the quest to appease the affected families.
Justice must be done, and we also will ask the Attorney General when he takes office to determine fair and adequate compensation for the families of those who have lost their lives. That is why, once again, I call on all our supporters and other persons who are involved in illegal actions, such as looting goods and occupying government offices and installations, to desist from doing this. We must do things differently to maintain the trust and confidence that Ghanaians have reposed in us. Many people have said it is the same thing the MPP did when they came in 2017, and that's why Ghanaians have voted them out. We must not copy the mistakes that they made.
Hajj travels have become a pain in the neck in recent times over cost. The president says there will be a new approach to embarking on a Hajj pilgrimage.
I have formed a Hajj task force that is led currently, 5-member Hajj task force, that is led currently by our longest serving MP, the Honorable Collins Dauda. And they'll be leaving for the Holy Land on Monday to participate in the Hajj conference. One of the tasks that I have given them is to go and make arrangements so that we can bring the Hajj fares as low as possible so that as many Muslims who intend to perform the pilgrimage can do so.
Expressing his deep appreciation to the Muslim community for their support, he has given a firm assurance of giving executive directives on some promises he made in recent past. Will on Sunday give his Christian thanksgiving to climax his victory. Komla Kluche, TV3 News, Accra.
Let's now engage the thoughts of Emmanuel Soate, who is a security expert. He joins us live on the phone lines for some analysis on this very latest development. Thank you, sir, for your time. And good to have you on News 360. You've had the call by the President on the Inspector General to give a status report on the killings of the 2020 as well as the 2024 general elections. What do you make of it? Hello, Mr. Soate, can you hear me?
I hear you loud and clear.
Right. I don't know if you had my question. I was asking what you make of the call by the President on the Inspector General of Police to submit a status report of the killings in 2020 as well as the 2024 general elections.
Yes, I don't know whether you hear me now.
I can hear you very loud and clear.
Okay, thank you so much. I made a preparatory remark that the police is known, quote, the state made flesh, unquote. Now, this is by Laurie in 1972, but that statement holds true. Because the police embodies almost every aspect of the state, it is very important that the police is held accountable across the spectrum. When I say spectrum here, I mean that it doesn't matter the socioeconomic status of a person. It doesn't matter their religion. It doesn't matter their political affiliation. It doesn't matter whether they are minority or majority. It doesn't matter whether they are migrants. The police is supposed to be held accountable. And that accountability mechanism is not only with the police dealing with citizens, in other words, police-citizen interactions, but that accountability mechanism is also very important in bringing organizational justice within the police institution itself. Because when you are talking about human rights, rule of law, democracy, all those other jargons within democratic dispensation, the police are very critical. So once you're talking about accountability, it is very good. But then accountability should not be opportunistic use of accountability. It should be accountability mechanism, repeating myself, that cuts across all spectrum of police-citizen interactions. And so if this particular move would, of course, go beyond just this 2020 and 2024 to put in place mechanism to strengthen police oversight. That is very important. There's a police scholar known as Sherman. Sherman said something, quote, where there is police, there is scandal, unquote. It means that there are always going to be scandals where you have police. And so when you have police, there are going to be scandals. Not only that, there's something in policing studies you call scandals and reform. So sometimes, not all the cases, but in most of the cases, scandals bring huge opportunities for long-lasting reforms, because reforms are part of policing and police organizations. And I think that if this particular call would lead to multi-decade multi-dimensional reform, multi-ethnic, multi-religious, multi-party, whatever mortar you want to use it. If it's going to engender that reform, I'm sure it's a good thing. But
some say, Mr. Suate, some say that this is going to be a very daunting responsibility on the Inspector General of Police. What do you expect him to do?
Oh, there are systems and structures. That is why you have the police, you have format. That is why you have PIPs. That is why you have regional commanders. That is why you have divisional commanders. That is why you have district commanders. That is why you have station officers. That is why you have all these structures. And when you go into the police service, you realize that one of the ways of holding police officers accountable, apart from body-worn camera that facilitates accountability, you also have very meticulous ways of reporting things on paper, to leave a paper trail. Of course, depending on the context, things can be manipulated. So, for example, in the operational unit, you can easily manipulate the type of the number of ammunition that have been discharged because they have a way of replenishing what they had lost. But generally, if you get police officers, they know the tricks of the game and they can ask questions to hold people accountable and bring the information. And I think that not only within the police, the outside oversight is important. And I think that it can be done. It can be done. It's like auditing.
Right.
Let me end on that note.
Right.
It's like auditing. You
Right.
know that there's always an excuse for no auditing.
Right.
It's the same in holding
we've got to
accountable.
leave it here. Thank you very much for your time. We do appreciate your contribution to our news tonight.
Right, Pa. With just 11 days remaining for President John Dramani Mahama to announce the remaining ministerial appointments, governance expert Dr. John Osai-Kwapong is advising the government to prioritize the education ministry in the coming days. My colleague Judith Brown has more.
President John Dramani Mahama has made his first ministerial appointments, Yamin Kasila to Forcing as Minister for Finance, John Jinapo as Minister for Energy, and Dominic Ayine as Attorney General and Minister for Justice. All these appointments come at a critical time for Ghana as the country faces a looming energy crisis and economic challenges. But while the Ministry of Finance will play a key role in addressing Ghana's economic situation with a focus on proper budgeting and spending, the Ministry of Energy will be required to tackle the pressing issues surrounding the gas pipeline maintenance and crude oil shortage. Well, the Attorney General's office will also be crucial in dealing with legal matters and the prosecution of the party's oral agenda.
There are also a number of key policies, especially around taxation, that the president promised during the campaign. For example, eliminating the e-levy, eliminating the COVID-19 levy. Energy as well. There's been conversations about the debt in the energy sector. There's also been conversations about the possibility of an energy crisis and the need to avert that. And then, of course, for the Attorney General, all of the different legal issues that would come up.
As President John Dramani Mahama continues to assemble his team, the question remains which key ministries should be prioritized in his bid to maintain a lean government. For governance expert Dr. John Osai-Kwapong, the Education Ministry should take center stage in the coming days.
The president also, during his campaign, talked about some of the challenges with free SHS and the review that they would subject the program to. So on the back of that, plus some of the concerns that Charles is raising, I would prioritize the education ministry.
He's further urging the president to also turn his attention to state-owned enterprises, which he says have been facing their own set of challenges, including inefficiencies and mismanagement.
The president did indicate that putting the SOAs on a path of operational efficiency and moving them away from losses is one of the things that he wants to start addressing. And I will do that, particularly Ghana Cocoa Board. Ghana Cocoa Board, because they were specifically mentioned in the IMF program, and the outgoing government promised a Cocoa Board turnaround strategy.
For now, the nation awaits which set of ministries the president will announce next. Judith Brown, TV3 News.
And following the failure of the 8th Parliament and the Presidency to ensure that the Human Sexual Rights and Family Values Bill becomes law, there are fears that the entire law-making process ought to be commenced again. Now, a leading member of Parliament, Haruna Idrisu, believes the current President John Dramani Mahama can take charge of that situation. My colleague Christian Yale reports.
Ghana in February 2024 joined a growing list of African countries opting to take a strong stance on LGBTQ activities as its legislative body passed the Human Sexual Rights and Family Values Bill. The proposed law had been heavily criticized while equally receiving significant endorsement from various interest groups. President Akufo-Addo, however, opted not to sign the bill into law following its passage. His office actually informed Parliament not to transmit the bill, pointing out 2 cases challenging the proposed law at the Supreme Court. The Apex Court in December 2024 dismissed both cases, indicating that the bill was yet to become law and could therefore not be challenged at that stage.
It is unclear whether Parliament, after that decision, transmitted the bill or it remained in the House. But you know, that has the potential of impacting the status of the bill. That is, whether the bill died with the previous Parliament or it is within the confines of the executive and therefore can be assented to by the new President, John Dramani Mahama.
The issue of LGBTQ is still an issue that is pending. And it is our hope that this President will sign the bill. But if he doesn't sign it, the bill will expire. And it means that the next Parliament must look at it again. And of course, like I said, we're not people who promote that kind of attitude. The Bible is very clear on issues like that. And so we'll continue to remain faithful to our spiritual guidance.
Legislator Haruna Idrisu believes President Mahama can take charge of the situation.
I have some ideas on LGBTQ, but I'm yet to share it with the President as to how he can re-own the bill and get national consensus around it and consistent with the laws of Ghana and the Constitution. There is a way to deal with it. But to make a comment here would mean that I'm reducing it to a religious matter, but it's certainly a social cultural problem for our country that collectively we will resolve to preserve our values as a people.
It is unclear at this stage what steps promoters of the bill will be taking.
Let's now engage the thoughts of legal practitioner Martin Kpebu on the subject. Thank you, Mr. Kpebu, for your time. First off, can the LGBTQ law be passed on to President Mahama?
No, it can't be passed on to him because by Parliament's own procedure and their practices, usually if a bill is not signed within the life of the Parliament in which it was assented to by Parliament or passed by Parliament, then that bill dies. That's to say that that's the end of it. Or to repeat in different words, you know, Parliament, or let's say that the Constitution, Article 106, gives the power to make law to Parliament and the President. So when the bill, whether private member's bill or a bill sponsored by the government, makes its way through Parliament and is passed by Parliament, then it has to be given to the President to assent to same. So if that bill is not given to the President, then, and the life of Parliament elapses or expires, that is it. The bill also expires with the Parliament that passed it.
But that's quite interesting, Mr. Kpebu, because the bill indeed left Parliament and got to the presidency. It only fell short of being assented to by the president. And so it wasn't like the bill stayed in Parliament and the life of that Parliament, you know, was cut short.
I mean, you may correct me if I'm wrong. As far as I remember, you know, when the bill was sent to the presidency, the secretary then, Bedietu, Asante Bediatu, had it returned to Parliament. So as far as I'm aware, and
You're right.
his reason was that there was a pending case in court.
You're right.
So as far as I'm aware, it hasn't been returned to the presidency.
And so
it's too late now because,
right.
you know.
And so for that matter, it should start all over again. Now, we know the cost implications, Mr. Kpebu. We know how this bill started, you know, the sort of stakeholder consultations that were held ahead of the passing of this bill in Parliament. And it cost a lot of money. I mean, if we're to start this whole process again, that's going to be a lot of money spent again, trying to start this whole thing over again. Who's supposed to take the responsibility for the cost that the nation incurs on this?
Yeah, that's a difficult one there. But I'm thinking we can do a number of things. One, when we start afresh, for now, I'm thinking that because the last consultations were done not too long ago, those can be sidestepped so that when it is introduced in Parliament, it goes to the committee, then the committee quickly passes it back to Parliament, and then it goes through just like the way we pass bills under a certificate of urgency. So I'm not saying this is going to be done exactly like passing one under a certificate of urgency, but I'm just drawing the similarities that because this bill has already gone through consultations, etc., when it is reintroduced, it will not face the same challenges. So it should be able to go through the various stages quickly so that it comes back to Parliament and then it's finally passed. So you have the first reading, it goes to the committee, they do come back, second reading, all those things, and then the third reading, and that's it.
Is it your expectation that the new president, John Dramani Mahama, will pass this into law if indeed he receives it at the presidency?
Well, that's a surprising one. Let me see. Let's go back a bit. Is it my expectation? Looking at so far the support for it, yes, I can see that he would be going against the grain if he were to refuse to assent to it, because the bill has enjoyed a lot of support. And so I can imagine that, and you see how President Kufuor was taken to task for even returning the bill to Parliament, etc. So if the experience of the bill the last time is anything to go by, then it is the case that John Mahama will be forced to sign, even if it's against his will, because it appears a larger majority of our citizens are definitely in favor of the bill.
Right, Mr. Martin Kpebu, I've got to say a big thank you to you. Martin Kpebu is a legal practitioner. You're still watching News 360, our major news bulletin for the day. We're streaming live on Facebook, also live on your DSTV channel 279.
Right, moving on, constituency executives of the National Democratic Congress in Ablekuma North have leveled allegations against the Electoral Commission, citing attempts to alter pink sheets to favor the New Patriotic Party. According to them, the conduct of the EC in the recoalition exercise is at variance with CI 127 and a bad precedence for future elections. They insist Irabna Orban is the duly elected candidate for the constituency.
I am backdropped by the Greater Accra Regional Office of the Electoral Commission, where series of recoalition have taken place, especially for the Ablekuma North constituency. We know that for 6 consecutive times, the Electoral Commission has suspended the recoalition in a bid to declare the winner for the constituency. Now, the NDC supporters and the constituency executives have made a strong demand for the Electoral Commission to declare their candidate, Irabna Orban, as the duly elected MP for the constituency.
Why is Madam Jane Mince's outfit threatening some presiding officers with legal action? What to say and what not to say during this illegal recoalition? Why this attempt of appointing a new returning officer to redeclare in favor of the NPP after the EC's own declaration? Honorable Irabna Orban is the Ablekuma North constituency a candidate that was declared. We stand firm in our call for fair, transparent resolution to this.
They are promising to ensure that the Electoral Commission is held accountable.
A presiding officer was forced to authenticate 2 separate pink sheets on 2 separate days. One was an altered scanned document and the other was an altered pink sheet. We are wondering which part of the CI 127 endorses the above processes. Unfortunately, Madam J. Mince's EC continues to set precedences that endangers our electoral processes and threatens our peace, security, and stability.
Some constituents and party members who have been speaking to TV3 say they will not allow any illegality to happen in that constituency.
This time there, kasa won't say we abana ya declare rabrani there. Akwa free atwene mu 10 batene ya pe. Nyama no.
This time there, jam omo. Some kwasoro no mba for mo. Yes, we have a kwasoro ya beba for wabu obi 28 years. Da obu no da ozu nti ase. Ya to amano ya to mo rabna.
Some more news tonight. 2 people have been confirmed dead and several injured in renewed fighting in Bawku in the Upper East region. The resurgence, which follows a deadly bus attack on Monday, leading to 2 deaths, has also left several houses burnt. Joint efforts by the police and military is underway to restore calm to the municipality. Castro Senyala is our Upper East regional correspondent, and he continues to monitor the situation in Bawku. Let's get on to Zoom now and speak to him for more information. Castro, good evening to you. It is rather a troubling situation there in Bawku. Do we know what has caused the resurgence?
Right, Aisha, as to what has caused the resurgence, we continue to gather information on that. But what we understand is that Monday's deadly bus attack is one of the contributory causes to the resurgence. We also understand that earlier today, there were pockets of disturbances within the municipality, leading to some few deaths and also hitting of a military officer who understand is currently being treated. So following that, we understand that, and we continue to gather that triggered some sort of tension, leading to, a sort of breakout of violence, and that has currently been brought under control thanks to the joint security efforts by the police and military.
We also understand that some 2 people have lost their lives and several others have also been injured. Have you spoken to the police? Have they confirmed this figure? And what else have they been telling you?
Aisha, the issue in Bawku is a very dicey one. Everybody is very careful when it comes to commenting on issues, especially whenever it involves deaths. The police are not different. They've also been very careful when it comes to managing giving information out. But then I am able to always get in touch with both sources in the military and police, thanks to the work I do, and that I can confirm that, yes, they have spoken to some of them who confirmed to me that, yes, indeed, 2 people have been killed in today's conflict, resurgence, and also several others have been left injured. We continue to monitor the situation. But then I am getting information also that as we speak now, tensions are a bit calm because the military and the police are on the ground following that incident, and then they've been able to bring the situation under control. And the police, we understand, as early as tomorrow morning, delegation led by the regional police commander, DCOP, Raymond Wejong Dufiem, will be there to assist the military and other peacekeeping troops on the ground to bring the situation under control.
Kasho, before we let you go, we also understand that some residents were brutalized by peacekeeping troops, raising concerns. Are you able to confirm that?
Yes, so I've been in touch with sources on both sides of the military and also speaking to locals there. Yes, the concerns have been that following the disturbances, the military and the police launched an operation to retrieve the arms, and also following the hitting of a military officer in the hand, as we've been told, the military, launched an offensive to retrieve the weapons and also to apprehend the faceless individuals who perpetuated today's attack. And in doing that, we understand that there were excesses where we understand some residents were taken through very bad, situations. But then the military, sources that have been speaking to the police, say that the situation has become very, very tense, that the military had to do that to be able to bring the situation under control, because a lot more innocent people would have lost lives if the military didn't intervene in the style that they did. And we understand that as they carried out that operation, About 10 arms have been, and when I say arms, rifles, very sophisticated rifles have been retrieved, and some arrests, we understand, have been made. And in the coming days, we hope that the situation will be brought under control.
Definitely, Castro. We trust you to bring us more updates in subsequent bulletins. Castro, Senyala is our Upper East Regional correspondent there.
Right, Aisha, and there's a looming fuel shortage in the Damongo, capital of the Savannah region, as the tens of thousands of residents will have to rely on 1 out of 4 pump stations in the area. Nadra Mohammed sent this report.
3 out of 4 fuel stations in the capital have completely ran out of petrol. This has led to long queues as motorists, commercial drivers and businesses rush to fill their tanks. With supplies running low, the uncertainty over how long a possible shutdown of all fuel pumps is high among residents. For some residents, the shortage is already affecting their livelihoods.
It will affect us a lot, simply because, as you can see, it is the motorbikes and the cars that we are using. And when it happens that the fuel's short, it means that our business cannot run. As I'm speaking, I'm not from here. I'm from different place. Where I was supposed to get the fuel, I didn't get it there. And then I travel here to come here and get the fuel. It happens that when I come here and I didn't get, meaning going back to my place, it will be a problem.
Business owners who rely on fuel for transportation are equally worried. Meanwhile, Hassan Ibrahim, a commercial driver, says he may be forced to park his car if the situation persists.
If I come to buy fuel and it so happens that there is no fuel here, definitely I have to go and park my car because there will not be fuel to do my transport business. And moreover, when it so happens like that, passengers get stranded at our stations, which result of which cause so many challenges to us there. So as a matter of fact, I think it's very good and try as much as possible, should I say, to make sure that they can go for us to just run our business.
Residents suspect the shortage is as a result of scarcity of the product at the depots.
Meanwhile, the National Petroleum Authority has allayed fears of petroleum consumers in the northern sector of shortage. Earlier, there were reported pockets of fuel shortage in northern Ghana, sparking panic.
Members of the technical committee that was set up by the Chief of Staff, Julius Deborah, met on Friday with the Energy Minister designate, John Jinapor. This was after Julius Deborah directed that measures be put in place to resolve the matter. Director of Policy and Coordination at the National Petroleum Authority, Dr. Sheila Ado, said there is no cause for alarm as measures have been put in place.
The first thing we're doing is that oil marketing companies across the country, especially up north, are being granted a special dispensation to load petrol from the Bost depot in Kumasi so that they can immediately start serving the regions up north. Oil marketing companies are also being granted a special dispensation to load the same petrol from the south, from Tema, to be able to serve some of the stations up north immediately. There's about 9 million liters of petrol that is in the pipeline between Bolga depot and the Buipe depot that is owned by Bost. So we're working with Bost to immediately push that 9 million liters from Buipe to Bolga and have it available in storage in Bolgatanga for some of the OMCs up north to quickly start loading fuel from the Bolgatanga depot.
She allayed the fears of fuel consumers.
There is no cause for alarm. We wish to encourage Ghanaians and the consuming public to go about their normal business and avoid panic buying because there's absolutely no cause for alarm. We also wish to reassure Ghanaians of adequate fuel stocks in the country. In fact, we have lined up a number of vessels that are waiting to discharge petroleum products in the country.
Dr. Sheila Ado said the shortage was due to some logistical challenges, but added that it is being resolved.
The Bost Kumasi depot, for example, is undergoing some upgrade works, and so that is leaving the capacity of the depot to just about half of what it's able to do. If it's able to do over 100 trucks on a daily basis, it's able to do about 50 trucks now. So that's a logistical challenge that is currently ongoing. But to immediately resolve the emergency situation, we put in place these measures.
And now to the Volta region. A fire outbreak in Ho Friday afternoon destroyed 3 local business stores, with damages running into thousands of Ghana cedis. Although firefighters arrived on time to ensure the fire was put under control, The 3 shops that contained several mineral drinks and other kitchen appliances were completely burnt. Correspondent Faisal Abdul Idrisu has more in the following report.
What you see here is a deep freezer that contains several mineral drinks, including water, an oven, cylinders, among others, that were caught up in the fire incident. Several items here in the shop have been burnt into ashes. But of course, we are not able to tell how the incident actually started and what might have caused the fire outbreak. I've been speaking to the owner of the shop and some other eyewitnesses that actually saw how things started before we got here.
So we were working in the electrical shop, and then we heard the cry, from the woman selling the drinks, that there was a smoke at the back. There's a domestic house at the back. So we ran to check what was happening, and then we realized it was a fire. So we disconnected the power lines. Kitchen at the back or what? I don't really know if it's a kitchen, a sleeping apartment, a bedroom or not, but it was from a room in the house. So we ran there, disconnected the power, and then we tried to move some of the stuff out of the shops. But the rate at which the fire was coming was too much, so we had to rush to fire service and then call them to come and put it out. To be honest, we tried calling them on phone, but it was to no avail, so I had to write them myself to call them before they came. But because of the wood, the shops are wooden structures, so the fire was blazing. Right?
I'm a top man, stadium, I'm a party geology, I was storing a million.
I left the shop shortly and was only returning when I saw the smoke from distance and realized my shop was burning. Personnel from the fire service came to help, but we were told the fire started from the back. One of the shops contained mineral drinks and water. I saw plastic chairs, ice chests, non-stick bowls and other kitchenwares, but all of that are burnt. Just about 2 weeks ago, I took stock of new goods to the tune of 36,000 Ghana cedis, but I couldn't pick anything from the fire. For over 30 minutes, firefighters from the Ghana National Fire Service worked tirelessly to put the blaze under control.
We received a distress call 1500 hours that there is a fire outbreak around Ahwen. So technically we have to deploy our men to extinguish the fire. And we use almost 30 minutes to at least to bring the fire under control. And because we are in the dry season, all the stalls were made up of wood. So we find it very difficult. But because we are technical men, we have to use our technical knowledge to bring the fire under control. So currently,
the Ashanti Regional Executives of the ruling National Democratic Congress is demanding a probe into a purported neglect of a presidential villa and regional minister's official bungalow located at the Regional Coordinating Council. While the residential facilities have deteriorated as they were left unoccupied nor maintained since 2017. My colleague Ibrahim Abubakar has more in the following report.
This is the current state of the residential facilities at the Ashanti Regional Coordinating Council. Now, most of the buildings here have been left to rot without any form of renovation for the past 8 years. The official bungalows sitting within the Regional Coordinating Council environment have not been occupied since 2017. Both the regional minister's residence and the presidential villa have been covered by weed, signaling years of neglect. Door and window frames, air conditions, furniture, and other domestic wares have all been removed when the National Democratic Congress regional executives inspected the facility to assess its current state.
When we are in power, you can see this place green. The grasses we cut, the flowers we shape them. When you enter these premises, you feel that this is the government seat. But now, we know that we are going to waste more money to bring it back, because when we appoint a regional minister now, where is he going to sleep? Are we going to rent a hotel? They've caused financial loss to the state.
This state-owned pickup has also been left here for the past 8 years. The regional executives of the National Democratic Congress want an investigation to be launched to ensure people in high office do not allow taxpayers' money to go waste going forward.
The state spent. His Excellency J. Ekufuor built the presidential villa. His Excellency John Evans Atamels and His Excellency John Mahama built the other one behind it. So you see, it goes beyond MPP and DC. It's about the country. You can't leave this. Look at the state of this whole building. Whoever is responsible of making sure that this place was maintained to the highest of standard, you make sure that the person was not negligent so far as the work is concerned.
Ibrahim Abubakar, TV3 News, Kumasi.
A reminder, still watching News 360. We'll be back with more news.
One bucket of flamingo paint is equal to several buckets.
This segment is brought to you by MTN.
West Hills Ridge Property, Eden Heights.
Hello and welcome to the business segment on News 360. My name is Menu Afol. Now, to ensure a smooth implementation of the flagship 24-hour economy program, the government has been urged to continue the previous administration's One District, One Factory initiative. A senior lecturer at the University of Professional Studies, Accra, Dr. Eric Boachi-Yadom, highlights the move will go a long way to decentralize the projects and control rural-urban migration challenges.
Across the world, the implementation of the 24-hour economy is more feasible in the cities, which means that rural communities in Ghana are likely to migrate into cities to look for greener pastures in a way. So governments will find a way to ensure that development reach rural communities. This is where the 1D, 1F can be critical in terms of the 24-hour economy implementation. Government should try as much as possible to build these factories as started by the previous administration to ensure that there's a fair distribution of government factories in delivering this particular policy.
The Institute of Internal Auditors Ghana has introduced new global standards to enhance control systems in the public sector, ensuring accountability and efficiency. The new standards aim to provide internal auditors with clear guidance, enabling them to deliver high-quality work and demonstrate professional competence. According to Director General of Internal Audit Agency, Dr. Eric Ojo-Osai, these standards align Ghana with international best practices governing internal audit activities across both public and private sectors. He highlights the move will eliminate ambiguity and ensure that internal audit activities meet global expectations.
Going forward, if you are an internal auditor in Ghana and you are practicing, your practice is like any internal auditor practicing anywhere in the world. It helps us to improve control systems in the public sector and to give an assurance to all stakeholders that the control systems are solid. When funds are sent to the various public institutions, it can be used for the intended purposes.
President of the Institute of Internal Auditors Ghana, Joseph Dakra, is urging management of both private and public institutions to grant the internal auditors the space and conducive environment to work.
These standards are not just for public sector practice. We also hear about private organizations complaining about the conduct of their people that are not satisfactory or that are not acceptable. Probably it's because they've not had internal audit practices in their organizations. We are urging all organizations, private or public, to make good use of internal auditors. They are professionals who have standards that govern their practice. They have practice guidelines that are supposed to help them to do their work. And if organizations commit themselves to operating quality or good internal control systems, they would get the kind of results that we want.
And that's how we wrap up the business segment here on News 360. My name is Minu Afo. Please stay with us. Sports news will come up shortly.
Hello there, good evening and welcome to the sports segment here on News 360. My name is Bill Lishe. Now on to our first story. SAS Finance Group has reached out to the Ghana Football Association to notify the 2009 Under-20 World Cup winning team about the availability of their investment checks. Now this follows the maturity of a 15-year investment made on their behalf by the Ministry of Youth and Sports, which reached its due date on January 4th, 2025. Each player is expected to receive about 60,000 Ghana cedis from the 10,000 Ghana cedis they invested back then. Now, SAS confirmed that the players can collect their checks from the SAS office in Accra. Some of the players include Black Stars captain Andre Ayew, Dominic Edia, Samuel Linkum, and Ajiman Bedu, among others. Now, moving on, former Black Stars coach James Kwesi has reviewed his disappointment at the Black Stars' failure to qualify for the 2025 Africa Cup of Nations. Currently, the head coach of Sudan, Appiah, in an exclusive interview, urged all stakeholders of the Ghana football to come together and find a solution.
It's unfortunate that Ghana, could not qualify, but I knew that Sudan, looking at the players and their thinking and the way they approach matches, automatically Sudan will by all means qualify. But it's unfortunate that the other Angola and Niger all had to come and beat Ghana, which is something that as a Ghanaian there's nothing that I can do. Yeah, I think that looking at the team now, it's important. All the stakeholders of the FA need to sit down and analyze why we could not qualify for the AFCON and the CHAN. And I believe that if we all bring our mind, and bring all the issues out, we can then solve the issues so that going forward, we can achieve what is ahead of us.
Now let's move over to England, where the manager of Arsenal, Mikel Arteta, has also been speaking ahead of their weekend FA Cup clash against Manchester United. The Gaffer revealed that the club are looking to only sign players in the winter window who can potentially impact the team as a challenge for major laurels, but highlights limitations in spending.
Well, first of all, someone that can impact immediately performance, and it can bring something that we don't have actually, and that's in this market very, very difficult to achieve. We always have discussions with the ones above discussing how we can improve the team, always, whether the market is open or closed, because we have to plan for what the necessities are right now and what the necessities are mid and long term. So those discussions are always open. I have so much support from the board. I continue to have it, and we are all seeking and willing to do the same, which is to win the maximum amount of football matches in the way that we want to play, to achieve ultimately the goals that we want to achieve, which is to win trophies, and that support continues to be there, but we have our limitations.
Of course, there are some FA Cup fixtures happening over the weekend, including that of West Ham, which will take place tonight against Aston Villa at 8 p.m. Mohamed Kudus is in the starting lineup for West Ham United. Also on Saturday, Chelsea will be facing Morecambe, Manchester City will face Salford City, and the biggest match in the FA Cup will be between Arsenal and Manchester United on Sunday. That's it for the sports segment here on News 360. My name is Bill Lishen, and up next is Entertainment with Noella.
Entertainment news segment is brought to you by
Napa Foods, Heaven Black Insecticide Spray and Coil.
Powered by 3 Entertainment.
Well, good evening and welcome to the entertainment news segment here on News 360. My name is Noella Donko. Now, versatile singer and Mentor finalist AJ Tunes has vowed to put his best foot forward to win Mentor 13 come Sunday, January 12. Now, the promising singer wants fans to anticipate a mind-blowing show as he braces up to excite and treats them to electrifying performances.
Your voice is so beautiful.
My original name is James Apreku. I'm a Christian, and I went to Kumasi High School, Mantier, Action. Then I continued to University of Ghana, where I studied earth science, geology, anything about the earth. I'm from Jabin, but then I lived in Obuasi all my life, so I'm representing Obuasi.
After a stormy day, they say that love is blind.
AJ Tunes, born James Apraku, has been one of the standout performers on the Mentor 13 platform. His incredible vocal delivery and showmanship has earned him the admiration of both followers and judges of the acclaimed reality show.
What do we say? What do we say?
You sounded so good. You had such good control. I mean, your vocal control is like somebody who's done this for a long time. Are you just starting, or you've been around for a long time?
Like, that performance was excellent. Not a single note missed.
Mentor has been an amazing learning platform for AJ Tunes.
There was a time which was like, AJ, it's not just about singing. Put plenty things together. Make it an art. And from there, I realized that I've seen changes from my performance and even how I command the stage, how I connect with my agents who are in the house watching, who I know will pull up on Sunday to watch.
Out of 11 performances, AJ has won Star Performer 4 times, making him the most decorated contestant. The passion-driven singer is inspired by amazing feat and hopes to replicate the impressive performances that won him those accolades at the final.
Finally, I'm come to give my A+++ game. Come to give them fireworks. We come to make them excited. That's the finals. So they can't jump. Yeah, give them everything, voice, performance, dance, everything. Mind-blowing. And I do my own song too. Fire.
Thoughts of the 80,000 Ghana cedi cash prize and other career-enhancing opportunities urges AJ Tunes to step up his game at the final.
I'm excited about it, but I'm more excited into the future because I believe that if by God's grace I win, it will create platforms where record deals might come out of it, or investors might locate me because, oh, Charlie, you are good, oh, I want to work with you. Because the mindset is not just for the mentor, but after mentor what? Because me, I want to blow, not just in Ghana, beyond Ghana. So the winning will help me a lot.
It will certainly be a keenly contested finale, but AJ Tunes is counting on the support from his fans to win Mentor 13.
Finals, we've not even reached Sunday. The way people are voting, my heart self do good. I'm begging all of you to rally behind me. Let's win this one time. I've won the most star performer. But finals, if my votes are low, then we'll take give another person because performance there, they can't spoil it. So I'm begging all of you to come rally behind me. Let's win this together.
This is a man's world. Man's world. Bumping a vein without a woman. Oh my God.
And that is AJ Tunes. But the question is still on as to who wins Mentor Season 13. Well, finalist and versatile singer Ray Cooper is confident of winning the big prize at stake, the cash and the bragging rights. Ray Cooper has been talking ahead of Sunday's finale. Alfonso Cooper has been determined to take his musical career to the next level, a passion he discovered during his high school years. Since then, the talented artist has never looked back.
So my name is Carlton Alfonso Cooper, but I'm popularly known as Ray Cooper. I'm an artist, songwriter, singer, rapper. I've been in the music space, or well, let me say I've been doing music from junior high. Yeah, that's when I started making beats. I actually started off with production and I started doing music professionally in 2018.
The past 13 weeks have been an exciting journey for Cooper as he has entertained fans and earned the admiration of judges, further endearing himself to many.
You are an embodiment of entertainment.
Ray Cooper is one of those talents who was born to be an artist. He has the voice, he has the looks, he has the charm, and he knows it. From day one, he started with how he puts the songs together, the way he's always smiling in his performances. But what I like about him is that he's been able to grow. He's been able to become that person who comes out of his shell and tries more to impress with his vocals and his ability.
Mentor 13 has provided him with valuable opportunities and he's incredibly grateful for the experience.
I have this better understanding of what it means to perform, being taken through boot camp, vocal training, understanding how to perform, how to connect, the judges being as critical as they are, it just breaks you down to build you up. So if I came here at this level, I'll be leaving Mentor at this level, and that's what I'm grateful for. So I'm a better performer than a few years ago, and that's what it's about. It's about the growth. So
Ray is now counting on the support of all Ghanaians to help make his dream a reality as the winner of Mentor Season 13, with the grand finale coming up Sunday, January 12th.
12th of January is, the final day. So please, guys, we have one more week. Voting lines are still open. *713 *13#. I'm your favorite contestant, Ray Cooper, and I'm number 10. Let's show up and let's make it big.
And I've got my mind made up, and I won't turn.
Well, tickets for the grand finale are selling at 50 Ghana cedis, and you can dial *713 *19# to purchase one for yourself. Make sure you come out and support your favorite contestant to win. My name is Noella. Have a wonderful weekend.
Right, Noella, thank you for entertainment news. Let's now bring you some international news.
U.S. President-elect Donald Trump has been sentenced to unconditional discharge, meaning he is spared jail time and a fine. Trump appeared stony-faced, sitting alongside his lawyer via video link in a New York courtroom. The prosecution requested no prison, probation, or fine as a sentence, exactly what the judge ruled. Trump said this has been a terrible experience and he is totally innocent, while his attorney said the charges never should have been brought. Last May, Trump was convicted on 34 counts related to hush money paid to adult film star Stormy Daniels and how the payments were later reimbursed. Benin forces have suffered heavy losses in an attack near the border with insurgency hit Niger and Burkina Faso. The National Guard Chief of Staff, Colonel Faizu Gomina, said one of the Benin's most well-equipped military positions had been hit in the north on Wednesday evening. It is not clear yet who is behind the attack, but the country has in recent years witnessed increasing attacks in the northern region blamed on jihadist groups based in neighboring countries. More than 120 military officers were killed between 2021 and December 2024.
Well, that's all for News 360. Thanks very much for watching. For more news, you can log on to our website. It's www.3news.com. My name is Pa Kwesi Asari.
And I'm Aisha Yakubu Khalid. Enjoy your weekend.